Good evening, one and all, and welcome to Mass Radio Sports Show. What's the Big Dyl? With myself, Dylan Foreman. Alongside me is Zach Goff and our what seems to be our now new fill-in co-host, Tom Huddleston. Tom, good to have you back in studio with us. You bring a good wealth of sports knowledge and always fun to talk to. So,
thanks for having me.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. How you doing today?
I'm good. Long day at work, lots of traffic. Alex Smith's career's over. I'm basically dead inside. So, but it's good besides that. Yeah.
You've been enjoying watching these NFL playoffs?
Honestly, no. Every
Okay.
team I have rooted for this playoff this year has lost.
So Chiefs and who else?
Chiefs lost. Literally, just every team that has lost. The Vikings lost, which was horrible to watch.
Oh, that was a bad showing by Case Keenum and company.
Jags losing like that is tough.
Man.
I figured those scores would be swapped, that the Jags would get blown out and that the Vikings would make it close at least. But yeah, it's been tough to watch this year.
How's the new job going?
Oh, it's good. It's a lot of work, but it's good. Eat at Taco Time.
What's that?
What?
You want to remind the audience what your job is?
Yeah, I do marketing for Taco Time. I don't work at a Taco Time. A lot of time when
Common misconception.
they go, "Oh, what's your job?" I go, "I work at Taco Time," and they're like, "Oh, which one?" They're like, "Do you work the register?" And I'm like, "No, I like the headquarters." Like I'm
a little more glamorous.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
You're on your way, Tom.
Hopefully.
You're on your way. You're a few provocative tweets away from becoming a really high up social media manager for some big company.
Yeah.
Go follow this guy on Twitter. He's got some interesting opinions.
Some hot takes, I would say.
Hot takes.
Yeah, I guess you could
Where
say
have
that.
I heard that before?
Yeah.
Zach, how are you doing?
Enjoying this afternoon we've had off today. So we had a 6 a.m. practice.
We did.
Yuck.
I'm really sleepy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to pump up
It
my
has
energy
been
for you
nice.
folks, but I'm a little sleepy.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
You getting through freshman year okay?
Yeah. A little better now. It's progressively gotten better.
How's the J-turn class? Your first J-turn.
It's not exciting, but it's not a tough class.
What are you taking?
Geology of energy
Oh.
Softball
by
class.
recommendation of.
They're pretty much
Dylan.
all softball classes.
I mean,
if
I
you
took-
take a hard J-term class, you
I-
did not do your schedule correctly.
I didn't because
Yeah.
I took Stats 231 my freshman year.
Oh boy.
Subsequently got a D. Had to take it again. But anyway, that's okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we're leading off tonight's show talking about PLU sports as always. Not a whole lot of content to cover here tonight, but we'll try to delve deep into some funner stuff as we move forward later on. But for now, we're talking about PLU men's basketball, the team that Zach and I both play for. Having a little bit of a rough time as of late. Just lost to Pacific on Saturday, 71-54. It was a tough loss, and I think one of the things that could be said for that game is we were all just a little slow.
Yeah.
A little slower than usual, at least.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
What did you see, Zach?
There was just like some little things we had that it just kind of like went from bad to worse throughout the game because it wasn't a score line like that the whole game. And the second half was probably the worst of the two. But I mean, we never gave up. It wasn't our night.
No.
It wasn't really there for us.
No. And I think to look at it on a more positive side, there have been a couple players in the rotation that are starting to step up and have a larger role, at least on the offensive end. Sean McLaughlin being someone that comes off the bench as the backup center, and then Kelton Williams now in the starting lineup at the point guard slot. Both have had very good couple of stretches of games where they're getting to the basket and scoring near the rim, which has been good for our offense. It's something
For sure.
that our offense has needed at a boost in points, so that's been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the game on Saturday.
Were you really?
Got to watch you guys. Yeah, I didn't do my usual heckling because we weren't sitting, down in like the second row. And Michael came to the girls' game, and then she left for the guys' game, which yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know. I apologize for him, but I have to say Sean had a great game, all things considered. You guys also went up. I have no idea who the kid's name is on Pacific, but when Pacific played Oregon State in one of their preseason tournaments, he dropped like 30 on Oregon State. I think he was number 2 on Pacific.
Oh, Brevin Brown.
Yeah,
Brevin Brown.
And so I mean,
he torched us.
Yeah, and actually one of the guys on the golf team went to high school with him, played basketball with him in high school.
Oh,
so
really?
Like this kid's.
Well, Sean
insane.
actually played college basketball with them when he was at Everett Community College.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
they're
cool.
teammates.
Huh.
But so it's kind of funny they both had really good nights.
He's like weirdly good. Like you look at him and you're like,
You're very unassuming.
you're
Yeah,
like, okay,
Definitely.
and then it's like, oh, okay, he has,
He just.
Oh, and there's 25 points. Okay.
yeah, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh.
no, there's one time like one of the guys like set a pick on us and he just like pulled up like 10 feet behind the line, like from his hip too, just launched it and backed up right like Curry range looking shot and just went right in. Just no big deal.
Yeah, very effortless game.
yeah. I think
Very smooth.
I think he had 14 within the first half of the first
Probably.
half, if that makes sense. Within
Yeah.
the first 10 minutes,
Yeah.
he had 14, and then he cooled off a little bit. But yeah, he's a interesting player. But Sean had a great game, and I playing up against a kid like that who can shoot like that. It's tough. You don't see a lot of guys like that in our conference. Really.
No.
It's a lot more team basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
kinda-
you have
Oh, yeah.
shooters, but you have shooters that their shots created for them off a drive and they're open.
Yeah,
They're knocked down, but they're
Yeah,
not
like
just
catch and shoot guys. They're not dribbling up to a screen and just pulling instead of taking the screen.
He's more of a traditional CC player, really athletic, really quick,
Yeah.
and he can create his own shot. And he's really helped that Pacific team. And we just had a tough time reining him in on Saturday night. And we'll have a lot more people that we're going to have to rein in this coming weekend playing Whitworth and Whitman.
Yeah, really.
Really good one-on-one players and team basketball players. So we're going to have to really be on top of our defensive game in order to stay in both those games, just to be competitive. So that's coming up. We're traveling to Spokane for Friday's game where we play Whitworth at 8, and then Saturday we'll take on obviously Whitman in Walla Walla, the number 1 team of the nation, on Saturday at 6.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. It's a long trip, long bus ride,
Yeah.
a lot of hours spent traveling on the road.
Gonna be a long weekend.
So you just got to keep the brain sharp, Zach. If I could give you any senior advice for this season, this trip, keep your wits about you. Don't go crazy.
Your wits. That was nice.
Your wits about you.
I didn't even mean to do that.
That was,
Well, don't say that.
yeah.
I got to be honest.
I know, but you got to be smooth too.
He wants to be honest to our listeners.
Got to be
That's
honest.
great. I appreciate.
I
that.
can't make them think I'm that smart to come up with that right on the fly.
That's true.
I don't want to fool my audience like that. So, okay, moving on to PLU women's basketball. A little different weekend for them.
Yeah.
Both of us only had one game on Saturday. They also played Pacific. They are also 1-7 in conference, but they now picked up their first conference win in the last 2 seasons, which was really a big night for the program, for Coach Childress, for all the players she's had, especially for the last 2 years that have been on the team. A big win in overtime, winning 66-62. Zach, what did you see from that one?
At the end of the game, they almost let it slip because they were up by like 15, I think, at one point, and
At
they've
half, yeah.
yeah, and they've played a lot of games really good for 3 quarters this year, and then they'll get to the 4th quarter and like they'll get tired or they'll make a couple too many mistakes or something. And they'll like let games slip or almost let them go. And this one, it was close because there was like one time where they had Pacific, like they got their own like offensive rebound like 3 times in a row. They kept missing their layups, and then somebody fouled Kristen, so then she got to go to the line. But that was definitely a nail biter because we were about ready to go out and warm up, and then like Coach Ritter or someone pops his head and he's like, "Oh, they're in overtime." So we watched the entire overtime, and it was fun to watch. It was just really like nerve-wracking sitting there like wanting them to just like pull this win out.
Yeah, and Coach Childress, I feel for her because it's been obviously a rough couple of years for her in the program, but to have it all kind of pay off, or at least just grinding through all those really close losses and all those frustrating maybe practices leading up, because I know the feeling now when you're losing back to back to back to games, you just can't seem to catch a break, and to finally grind one out, it feels like the biggest weight gets lifted off your shoulders. So I'm happy for that program, and I'm sure a lot of the ladies on that team are excited as well. Tom, did you get a chance to watch that game, or
I didn't.
Or you saw the men's game, but Michael saw the women's game?
Yeah. So Michael watched the women's game, and I saw him when he was walking out, and it got a little crazy there at the end of the game. I know there was somewhat of a blown call that basically, like, PLU, we could have won it in regulation, but they didn't call a jump ball, or they did call a jump ball, and it went to OT because of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for him. It's awesome. Like you said, it's been tough for him. So
Tom, we miss you, man. We
I know.
miss you in the stands. It's cool that you guys come back to support us, but we do miss student Tom more than grown up.
I mean,
Tom.
you would think that now I would have, there'd be nothing holding me back. I'm not a student. I can't get reprimanded by the school for the most part. I can just let loose. What are they going to do? Kick me out? They're not going to, take away my loot card or something.
Campos would drag you out of the gym.
I mean, what's Campo going to do, honestly?
True.
But I wish me and Michael could be at the game at the same time. His girlfriend goes here, so you'd think he'd be down here a lot more often when you guys would have games. But, I got to coordinate with him. We'll do.
I did see him at a lot of the volleyball games, though.
Yeah, cool. Because
that's good to go over the volleyball. Yeah.
But maybe like senior night, I'll convince him. Like, let's go down. Like, let's watch Dylan play.
Yeah.
Come on,
Watched my last home game as a loot.
Yeah,
That'll mean the world to me, Tom. If I just looked up in the stands, smiling for my senior pictures, and I just see you
red in the face, just yelling, and then point at you,
wearing your banana suit.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So lastly, in PLU news, we got PLU swimming. Both the men and women's teams are 4-0. Baseball and softball are in practice mode. They're starting to get ready to start their season. Track and field as well. They have a couple indoor meets. I was about to say matches, but that's not correct. They have a couple meets coming up in February, so they're also primed to kind of get up and running for those spring sports, which are kind of just around the corner. And for basketball, we only have less than 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
4 weeks.
Yeah, I think 4 weeks.
Yeah, just about under 4 weeks. So we'll keep you up to date as the weeks go by in terms of our basketball seasons and the upcoming spring seasons. But for now, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a little bit. And welcome back to Mastery What's the Big Dyl? And before we get going into our second segment, we want to remind you to feel free to call into the show at any time to talk about any of the teams, players, and or stories presented throughout the show. The number to call is 253-535-7332. That's 253-535-7332. We hope you can call in and offer some fun little comments on what we're talking about here in the studio. Alongside us is Tom Huddleston, former student athlete here at PLU's on the men's golf team, now works at Taco Time as the social media person.
Yeah, headquarters. Yeah, corporate, not at a Taco Time.
A Taco Time, yeah. You won't just go into a random Taco Time and find Tom serving you some tacos.
And talking about Alex Smith. No.
Alex.
No.
Greets every customer. He's like, who's your favorite player? Mine's Alex Smith, without even like being prompted.
Like,
Yeah.
sir, can I just order my food?
Not until you tell me about Alex.
So to start off the segment, we're talking about the Seahawks still making more and more changes in terms of coaching personnel.
Yeah.
Chris Richard is not there anymore. And so that'll make Daryl Bevel, Tom Cable, and Richard among coaches fired from the Seahawks in the past couple of weeks. What do we think about this?
What I'm happy is gone is Tom Cable, because his system, like the past, I know he's been like pretty notorious for trying to turn like non-linemen into linemen.
Yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't really working out for us. But being the line coach, he was also in charge of our run game. So he was in charge of like the 2 weakest points of our entire team. So it's a plus that we've moved on from him. So I'll say that much. Yeah. I don't know what happened with Chris Richard, but I guess it was just time.
I don't know, though, because our defense is still pretty good.
Yeah.
And now he is on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They hired him.
Man, it'd be crazy if Earl Thomas ends up going to the Cowboys in the next few years too.
He already said, "Come get me."
Yeah.
And now Chris Richard's there, so it's like it's only a matter of time.
That is interesting. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just give it a few years. Give it a few years when he's like not as good. Then I can stomach Earl Thomas playing for someone like the
I think he
Cowboys.
wants to leave now, though. Honestly, after all
Maybe he
the
sees the writing on the wall.
yeah, like just after the turmoil this year and all that stuff, like
Yeah.
you know,
I don't think it's necessarily the end of this like dynasty we've had
no.
with the Seahawks, but there's going to be a lot of like big decisions. You know, if we go out sign free agents, the next few drafts, like this next few years is going to be really telling if like it kind of like we have to rebuild or if we're going to keep going. But it's going to be tough. So,
But I think it's good. I mean, this is one of the things the Seahawks do that like gets me worried as a former 49er fan and Seahawks not fan is that they do stuff like this where Pete Carroll obviously is going to be head coach of the Seahawks forever, it seems like, right? And
Probably.
just getting in new personnel like this is going to revitalize that team. You got Richard Sherman coming back. I mean, you got the whole Legion of Boom basically coming back this next year.
Yeah.
After they got injured this year.
And they have Byron Maxwell now, so now it's like the original Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
And he played well when we got him back.
Yeah.
I will say I was kind of worried about like how that would play out, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. So you're going to see the Seahawks come back next year. They're going to have new schemes on defense, new schemes on offense.
It's gonna be nasty.
They're gonna be scary again. They're gonna be doing new stuff, which the Seahawks are already good at what they do now, and now they're gonna come back with a different set of eyes in their offense and defense.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be interesting.
And I mean, getting rid of Daryl Bevel kind of makes sense because with him, it's always been like run first. That's what we were for years with Marshawn Lynch and everything. But now we're definitely pass first.
Yeah.
So with whoever they bring in, I mean, I think it's going to be really refreshing for Seahawks fans and scary for 49ers fans and other fans.
Jimmy G looks good over there in the Bay Area.
Apparently, Jimmy G is just gonna never lose an NFL game in his career. That seems to be the trend so far, right?
Or at the very least, just like Ben Roethlisberger, just
exactly,
just
that kind
win
of thing.
a ton of his games, the first few years.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, who knows?
I mean, getting back to Seattle, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Sucks for Robert Kraft.
Now that Jimmy Garoppolo's there, I can
like
I'll
the 49ers.
Listen. I'll listen. I don't like them, but I'll listen because I like Jimmy Garoppolo.
You'll get a Jimmy G jersey and just be like, well, I like the player. I don't like the team.
I especially like him more now that he's not in a Pats uniform.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Robert Kraft is
Robert. He's
whether or not you like Tom Brady, Robert Kraft is an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean,
because he got rid of
next quarterback. Because Brady's aging.
Brady's playing until he's 50. Okay.
My God.
Okay, but
really?
but once he's on his Walker and stuff, like at age 50, they need another quarterback.
Hey, they have Brian Hoyer. Okay,
That's true. And
Brian Hoyer.
Let's not be hasty here.
You saw him in San Francisco this year. Brian Hoyer is great. He's amazing.
Yeah, I
He's
think you'll
hot
be
trash.
really happy with him once Brady's done. Instead of Garoppolo,
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah. It'll be
So-
fine.
I think another question for the Seahawks, moving back
Yes.
over to the Seahawks,
Right.
is there still a bunch of moves to be made for the roster now? So they've really done a
Yeah.
clean sweep with their coaching staff. Now I'll be very curious to see what type of offensive and defensive personnel changes they make. I know there's been a lot of questions on the defensive side on players that may
Yeah.
or may not be back. Cam Chancellor being one of those people. Whether or not they get rid of Richard Sherman.
I know. Yeah, I saw an article about it where like somebody said, they took care of the coaches. The roster's next, so it really makes you wonder like. They really came out and told people about that. So what's like the big news here? Like what exactly are they gonna do? What's the big shakeup? Lots of big names on the team that may or may not be here next year. Probably a lot of big names that won't be here next year. So
Yeah.
Who do you think's most likely to go? Because I honestly haven't heard about
Jimmy Graham.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Graham is barely on the Seahawks. I have to watch a lot of Seahawks games, and I had Jimmy Graham in fantasy this year, and so to watch his stat line this year, it's just like, could you
Second
guys?
half of the season though really ramped up.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Jimmy Graham. The
Yeah.
guy was a Pro Bowler in New Orleans, and now it's like, well, I guess we'll throw to him in the red zone, and he'll get a touchdown, and he'll spike it, and that's cool. But like, he should be the go-to guy on third down. And I mean, this is a whole nother conversation, but like, there's not a lot of times where Russell Wilson can throw to his first read on any passing play because he has to, bootleg and throw it deep to Paul Richardson every time.
Yeah, 'cause our line sucks.
Yeah, but Jimmy Graham, I could see him going, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and you're sorry.
No,
Good job.
but I mean, like, they should definitely, if he's going, they should just get O-line. Just get O-line, get O-line.
I think we can live with Luke Wilson because he's a free agent too, and he's going to be a lot cheaper.
And he's serviceable for what they use him for.
And he can block.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham can't block,
no.
so
He can box out.
Well, I'm sure he can block. He just doesn't choose to.
No, he can't block. He could block someone out. He played basketball.
He was a
at
good
the U,
basketball player.
but he can't block in the NFL. Definitely not. No.
Even though he totally should be able to.
Yeah.
With that
with
frame and
his
size.
Yeah, and athleticism. It's not like he falls short in athleticism or anything.
Right.
He doesn't have the best O-line to learn from, though. To be honest, how to
That's
block.
true.
So that is tough.
True.
Yeah, and I saw an article by Bob Condata. He covers the Hawks for the Seattle Times, and he said that like all the coaching churn and stuff, but the roster's next, and just I think Jimmy Graham's gone. I feel like Michael Bennett might be the end of his. I feel like Avrill's gonna retire.
Yeah.
Avrill's pretty bad.
I feel like Michael Bennett might retire. Like, he might just be sick of playing football. He barely wears shoulder pads at this point when he plays.
Okay, I like that though.
It is cool.
With the tall neck look and the tiny shoulder pads.
It's exactly what I would do if I played football. I would wear the tiniest shoulder pads I could, just because like I don't.
They have nothing to grab.
Yeah, and
That's why he does it. I mean,
Yeah.
he wears like shoulder pads my little brother would wear.
right.
So then linemen can't grab them. So
He might just be sick of it. He's got other things, more important issues to deal with.
yeah,
He also just might be done with the NFL.
Exactly. Like, he hates the NFL.
he hasn't been super.
Him and his
positive
brother.
lately.
Yeah. Exactly. His
They
brother.
both have beef.
Martellus Bennett.
Is he still on the Patriots?
Well,
I know he went
so
to Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
And then he was like, I'm
well,
done.
he was injured with Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then they released him or however he got back to the Patriots, and then all of a sudden he starts practicing again.
Yeah.
So he just wasn't gonna practice until they got rid of him, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird.
There's that whole thing about him criticizing the Green Bay Packers doctor
Yeah.
for not handling his injury well. Anyways, different story for a different time.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move on to the Sounders. Actually, no, I skipped something. Another thing about the
Pro
Seahawks,
Bowlers.
this time a little more positive,
Definitely.
is talking about their 7 Pro Bowlers. Russell Wilson, Jimmy Graham, Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas originally, Doug Baldwin, Dwayne Brown, and Michael Bennett. added as replacements. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the two? Wagner and Bennett won't be playing in it. Is that right? For injury. I know Wagner and one of the others won't be playing because of injury.
So Jimmy.
Hey, when was the last time we had a lineman in the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, seriously. I was gonna say Jimmy Graham made the Pro Bowl this year originally,
Yeah.
like straight up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And he'll be gone.
Yeah, he'll be gone next
He's
year.
a free agent.
Bye.
He won't take whatever you throw at him. He like after the last game or some like ESPN reporter or someone like that said like game was over. He saw the press. He was out of there like that. Like
He's gonna get
He's
in his
done.
plane and he's gonna fly.
yeah,
out.
he's gonna fly back to New Orleans or
Yeah.
something.
He's gone. It's
Yeah.
over. It's too bad.
I'm curious where he goes though. Just like as a general like NFL fan, like I'm curious where he goes.
He could go back to New Orleans. Honestly, they could use a tight
Probably
end.
could.
That's true. They
Yeah.
could.
He could come to the Bay, come to San Francisco. That'd be nice.
No,
No?
he probably
Okay.
wants to win more games. I don't think he's happy with.
But he's got Jimmy G now.
I don't
5-0
know.
Jimmy G.
Maybe he wants a championship.
Jimmy G and Jimmy G.
Maybe he's trying to. Maybe he's trying to.
Jimmy G squared, dude.
That'd be cool.
Mm.
Actually,
That
would be
might
kinda
work.
cool. I
That
don't know.
might work. You
Maybe-
heard it here first.
Yeah.
folks.
Maybe he's
Hot
gonna
take.
sniff out a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
Go to the
could see.
Patriots.
Go to the Patriots. Go to Green.
double,
Go to Green
double.
Bay.
Yeah, they
Huh.
run a double tight end set. They did it when they had Bennett and
Yeah, yeah. And that was nasty. And
Gronk.
Gronk,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, probably not, but who knows? You go like the Steelers or something. That'd be a nice
the
look.
The Steelers could use a tight end. Yeah.
Ever since Heath Miller retired, they've been hurting for.
And they got Jesse
tight
James
ends.
who can't catch a pass. Apparently, allegedly.
Oh,
Allegedly. Yeah.
Don't say that
According to
around a
the refs.
Steelers fan. They
Yeah.
might get.
I know. Well, they're
go after you for that one.
yeah. I think they're too busy getting over the Jags loss, but it's okay.
I thought they were more legit than that. In the Steelers' defense, though, they had a rough season.
Yeah, I mean their defense was just bad. Like everyone
Well,
knew their defense.
It was
bad.
good, and then they had Harris? No,
James Harrison.
James Harrison left,
Ja-
and then
James Harrison wasn't really playing. that
what's
much,
his
though.
name? Hurt his neck.
Oh yeah, Ryan Shazier.
Ryan Shazier, like
But
their best
They
linebacker.
did lose to the Bears with all those players healthy though. People forget about that. It was
This is
like
true.
week 3 they lost to the Bears.
Yeah, but you don't really
I
judge an NFL team by their
Hey,
performances in like the first
Seahawks
6
lost to the
weeks.
Titans too, and almost lost to the 49ers.
Almost.
That was bad. Did we lose to the Colts too?
No, we beat the
No,
Colts.
it was real close for a second.
That's right.
And then it
was
got blown
close.
wide open.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. Anyway,
Zach, tell us about the Seattle Sounders.
all right. My Sounders here. So
I didn't even know there was anything to talk about until you put something
yeah,
on the docket
Yeah.
for today.
I'm a soccer nerd. You guys have heard it because I'm always a Sounders guy. I like soccer. I don't know why. I haven't played since I was 5. It confuses my own family, but I love it anyway. 10 of the Sounders 11 starters return as of this 2018 like late winter, early spring, whatever camp they have, which is good. One of our best players, Jovan Jones, who was like towards the top in like assists in the entire league or in the MLS. He's playing in the Bundesliga. He's young, so he's gonna go play for a higher tier team than like a MLS team, which is fair. He's got a lot of potential there. And then we got only really one new like important player. This guy named Waylon Francis. Never heard of him before he signed him. He's like from Columbus Crew, for those of you who follow MLS at all and know who that is. And he'll battle against Nuhu for Jones' vacated spot, and that's pretty much all the Sounders news we have so far. It's hasn't been a lot.
They didn't lose anybody in the expansion. Have they had the expansion draft yet
For
for the MLS, or is that even this year? I heard something about expansion draft, and like Brad Evans was in it, like he was an eligible player for it.
Oh, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know we had Atlanta FC was really good this year when they're an expansion team, and
out
then
of nowhere. Yeah.
I think we have 2 new teams. There's another team in New York. No, not. I think it's in
Oh, it's
California.
LAFC. Yeah.
LAFC.
Yeah.
That's Beckham's team, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, and
Beckham's got a team in
they
LA.
play the Sounders first game of the season in Seattle, I think.
Sweet,
it's
so we
in
get to
Seattle.
blow out an expansion team. I look forward to
Yeah,
that. game.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too busy with following Arsenal right now in London to kind of focus on the Sounders right now.
Well, that's not always a fun team to follow.
No, and I don't want to get into it. I don't think people want to hear about that. It's
Yeah.
it's European soccer, but
What? I have.
we can talk about it. But it's
Yeah.
Maybe later.
I enjoy European soccer.
Yeah.
Chelsea and Liverpool are a little higher up there than Arsenal.
I know they are.
So lastly, in Seattle sports news, talking about the Mariners, as Edgar Martinez is in the process of trying to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that's kind of exciting. It's been a long time coming, and so hopefully he needs 75% of the votes to get in. And right now, just following live in terms of counting the votes for and against him to determine whether or not he gets into the Hall of Fame. Big Seattle sports icon right there.
Yeah.
Is he still the Mariners hitting coach?
I think so.
I think he still is. So still a part of the organization, which is
This
cool.
This is where we need Sarah. This is where we hit Mariners stuff.
Big Mariners stuff. And with that, we're going to head to our second break. We'll be back just a little bit. Got some hot takes coming up after the break about some stuff that's been going on in the world of sports. We got the Super Bowl, talking Tom Brady, talking the NBA All-Star Game. You're not going to want to miss it. And just quick reminder, for those of you wanting to call into the show, the number to call is 253-535-7332. And with that, we'll see you in just a few. And welcome back to Mass Radio's What's the Big Deal with me, Dylan Foreman, Tom Huddleston, and Zach Goff, bringing you section 3 of this hour-long episode here this Tuesday evening. We're talking about national headlines, things going on in the news and in the world of sports. Before we get going, just want to remind you to feel free to call into the show. If you want to talk about any of the teams, players, and or stories presented throughout the show, the number to call is 253-535-7332. So big news is Super Bowl 52 matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles and your New England Patriots.
Your
Is in Dylan's New England
Yeah.
Patriots, not ours.
Everyone's New England Patriots. It's America's new team.
Uh-huh.
Cowboys are,
Cowboys sicken me enough. I don't need the Patriots to be the America's team.
anyways. This past weekend, Patriots beat the Jaguars 24-20 in a nice come-from-behind victory in the fourth quarter. Tom Brady, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns in their win.
Man, Nick Foles had a better stat line.
He did, and I'm going to tell you the stat line.
But Tom Brady did it with stitches in his hand.
Yeah.
No glove.
I
I
will.
mean,
And come-from-behind win in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and
At
the
40
Jags
years old.
And the Jags had like a come from ahead loss. You know, they just ahead. Well, I don't know how much they're up by, and
They're up 10.
they just jagged it. I guess.
they did. They cooged it, but they're Jags, so
Yeah,
they jagged it.
It jagged it.
definitely.
And that's actually a
So
word
bad.
you'd use, like when you jagged a layup.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's like, I think that's actually
Coaches
something.
used that before.
Yeah.
Mm.
He says it a lot now that I think about it.
To you?
Jagging a layup.
Yeah, like missing
Says
a
that
layup.
to you?
No, to the team.
Oh.
Like
To
when
all
he
of
refers
us.
to like somebody missing a layup, he says like jagging a layup.
Oh no.
I don't know what like the specific definition behind that word is, but
The AFC Championship game was
Um,
actually a good game.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a really good
It
game.
was
Yeah.
suspenseful. Blake Bortles didn't, just
Oh, yeah.
not show up like everyone thought he was
great
gonna do.
performance by the referees out there.
Yeah, I mean the
Okay.
Patriots and the refs.
What
yeah.
what did they have? Would they have like one penalty?
They
I
had
think,
one
and the Jags
penalty.
had like 80 penalty yards.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, it has nothing to do with the close win, but
and how the ref came up and was the first person to congratulate Tom Brady
Oh, that
after
was
the game
so
was over.
funny. And
Slaps him on the chest, goes, "Good job, bud." Walks
Yeah,
off.
yeah, and Tom, oh yeah, and like soft ear, someone's like,
You'll
oh,
get
that's like, yeah, you'll get your payment later.
Yep,
Kinda.
you get your check.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Oh man,
love
I don't know if there's
love
really
it.
anything there or not, but it just looks so bad. Like it's
Obviously, there's nothing in it.
No, I mean, I don't hate the Patriots whatsoever, you know. But
Tom.
I
And
don't.
you're Red Sox fans. so
Yeah,
you do like
exactly. That's why, you know, I'm gonna be rooting for him on Sunday
it. So will I. Zach, will you?
no.
Okay.
because I'm definitely not rooting for
Rooting for the Eagles.
the Eagles.
Why?
Fight, Eagles, fight.
Their
All the
fans
way
are just
to
horrible.
I don't necessarily base a team off of their fans.
I
Otherwise, everybody should hate the Seahawks because Seahawks fans are
I mean,
terrible.
that's why I don't like them. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I mean,
I mean, that's a fair.
and the Vikings storyline was so much better, you know. This,
Nick Foles and Case
What,
Keenum
like
against
the
each other.
third string
former
quarterback, you know?
Yeah, but like, you know, the
Yeah.
Vikings pull off this miracle against the Saints, and you know they got the cool clapping skull thing. That was cool.
Oh man,
you know,
that was.
and I mean,
to get beat down. by the
yeah, it's just like
Eagles.
just not show up. I mean,
Man.
I think the perfect description was that they were just, I mean, you know, hung over from that win. You
That
know,
was
not in a
so-
literal sense, but
Yeah.
as a team,
You'd hope. Not. in a
Yeah,
little
I hope
sense.
not.
Before that game, I honestly thought the Vikings would probably beat the Eagles just because, like,
I mean,
I don't have the same confidence in Foles as I do in Wentz,
Exactly.
but obviously, I mean, maybe we should.
you know, Nick Foles couldn't keep his job in Kansas City, and Alex Smith came and took it back. You know, so if he can't beat out
I mean,
Alex Smith for a job, you wouldn't
could
expect
also
him to
argue,
beat.
You could argue systems too, because Foles
Yeah,
performed well in Philly. You know, didn't perform well in Kansas City or St. Louis,
I mean that's
and now he's
fault,
performing well again in Philly. So
Yeah, yeah.
it
But
could
I mean,
be system.
God, that game was so boring, and you just felt bad. I felt bad
Yeah.
for the Vikings.
Yeah,
It was just sad.
it's like
what's even
Cinderella
story.
story.
more
Yeah.
sad is that
stomped on.
Yeah,
the Super Bowl is in
Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Oh, that would've been
there's
so cool.
there's Viking fans that are signing up as Uber drivers, so that if they get an Eagles fan that's going to
jeez.
the Super Bowl, they're just going to drop them off in like a random parking lot. They're just going to take them to the wrong location and go, "Yeah, have
Oh
fun
my.
getting to the game."
That's so bad.
You know, see it, bud. I mean, I don't think there's any
Do you
way.
like Minnesota?
I
Do you like the Vikings?
I do like. I like their uniforms. I like their matte helmets. They're really cool. I like their uniforms. I like their colors.
I do like.
They
the
were a cool.
Jaguars
They were a
uniform.
cool team this year. I like the Jags are cool this year too. You know, I picked Vikings Jags. Of course, every team that I wanted to win this year lost. Every matchup I
Understand.
picked.
Bad
I
luck
picked-
charm, Tom.
I am. So now I feel like I
So-
should root for the Eagles.
Yeah, and if you fill out like a March Madness bracket, do the opposite of everything you're gonna pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you'll win.
Then I'll win. Which
Or everyone that sees your bracket, just do the opposite of what Tom fills out.
yeah,
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Just
so
a-
you do your bracket and then show it to me, and then I'll do
you know,
mine.
just 4 16 seeds make it to the Final Four. It's amazing.
So speaking of the Vikings, they lost 38-7 to the Eagles. Nick Foles, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. And like you guys
Nice.
said, Nick
It's not
Foles
bad.
playing really, really good football.
Throwing dimes.
Yeah.
Man, that Jaguars defense too is like so good, and they kind of. I mean, yes, Brady like he played pretty well in that game, like obviously, but like he kind of choked. Like that Amendola touchdown. What's his name? Deshaun Gibson just like watched it happen. Like that
Yeah.
for me just like, cause he used to play for the Browns, and he had an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and just kind of like,
Yeah.
well, there's a Super Bowl right
Yeah.
there.
I mean, at least the Jags defense basically showed up. You know, the Vikings just like were nowhere to be found.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. That Jags defense was harassing the Patriots the whole game.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like on a like Deion Lewis, I don't know, it was a kick return, punt return, whatever it was. Like he caught it, and a bunch of like 2 or 3 Jags players run up, take the ball from him just to give it to the ref.
Yeah.
Just to get in their head.
Yeah.
Like that's fun to watch. Like when players like get at each other like
Yeah.
that. That game was a lot more exciting though, for sure.
I mean, but I don't think Nick Foles has a chance in the Super Bowl. On that kind of stage, you know, Napoleon Dynamite, I don't think he's going to show up, you know,
Kind of looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
He
too.
does.
Oh yeah, he looks like
straight
that
up
actor.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't. I mean, do you guys see him showing up in the Super Bowl against the Patriots?
Yes.
I think it's gonna be. I mean,
I think he has it in him to grab at least 18 to 20 points.
really.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of it's going to be put on the
Their
Eagles'
team's good.
defense. I think the Eagles
Yeah.
have a better defense.
If they can get points off of turnovers, they got.
Oh
they
yeah,
got a
no. If
shot.
they get like a fumble recovery
Yeah.
or like a pick six, I
If
mean,
they get something
those are
like
really
that.
big plays.
Yeah.
But if they can, slow down old Tom, then
Yeah. Old Tom
Foles.
Brady.
Yeah, Foles could have a like career-defining moment here.
Wait, did someone say Tom?
Quarterback sneak. Let's go! 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 Let's go!
My favorite Tom Brady.
He has a very like minimal vocabulary.
Do you play that before your basketball games? You got your headphones in. It's just,
Let's go!
It's just Tom Brady yelling, "Let's go!"
Oh
my
Gets him hyped.
I love Tom.
He is your Alex Smith. Would you say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Tom's got Alex Smith. You got Tom Brady. I got Nick Foles.
Apparently,
Wow.
you got Nick Foles.
You guys really
No.
don't know how to shoot for the
No.
stars.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys,
yeah. I mean,
those are sad.
I
favorite
have my
quarterback
reasons for liking.
I'm
Alex
not
Smith.
saying Nick Foles is my favorite quarterback by a long shot. Trust me.
Alex
It's just
Smith doesn't-
I think Nick Foles will perform because I didn't think he'd necessarily perform right away, but
Yeah, but he was at home. He was at home against the Vikings.
nah.
You know.
He's been performing since since once went down though. I think
Yeah, but it's the Super Bowl though, and nothing.
as long as he
compares to
can
it.
move the ball and play mediocre football, I think they have a legit chance to beat the
I mean,
Patriots here.
their running game is so much better than a lot of others in the league. You know, kind of three-headed
So is the
monster.
Patriots
like
though
your-
too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be. I just hope it'll be a fun game.
Yeah,
That's all I can hope for.
kind of cool to see.
I think it will be. I think it'll be a good game.
I think it's
I
cool
hope
to
so.
see, like, I've liked Ajayi for a little while now, and he gets shooed away from the Dolphins, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so.
that's cool.
That's kinda cool.
That's definitely good for him. Arsenal supporter, by the way. That's completely off topic, but he supports Arsenal, so that's also
There you
cool.
go. Another reason to like him, I guess.
Anyways,
Moving on. So 2018 NBA All-Star Game. The starters have been announced, but is a different format. The two captains for both teams will be Steph Curry and LeBron James. And basically what it is, there's 10 starters that need to start in the All-Star Game, but it doesn't matter whether they're from the East or the West. They are drafted and picked elementary recess style by Team Curry and Team James. And basically you can just kind of mix and match who you want on your team. So we went through and made starting lineups for Team LBJ and Team Curry. I'll start. And this is a lineup I think both LeBron James and Steph Curry would want to go with. For Team LeBron James, obviously there's LeBron James. I think he's going to pick Kyrie because I think he wants a reunion.
Wow.
He's having a rough stretch in Cleveland right now with everyone around him. I think a familiar face would kind of lighten his mood a little bit and
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
give him a more positive outlook on what used to be.
I mean, it's like if you picked your ex-girlfriend to play basketball. Like
Well, no, it's like Durant and Westbrook in the All-Star game last year.
it's a familiar face. I
Well, it's-
really miss him. I want to play basketball with him again.
Hey, everyone has.
And then he's
everyone
gone.
everyone has those lapses,
And,
Tom.
and then they go back. I know, but it's
moment of weakness.
It's one night, and then that's it. And like,
Sometimes
Oh,
one night's
wow.
enough.
okay,
Sometimes one night's enough.
okay.
DeMar DeRozan, and then I think he's going to just pick up Boogie and Anthony Davis. So I don't think
Okay.
I don't think those two will be on separate teams for this.
I like that lineup. I like it.
For Team Curry, starters obviously Steph Curry. I think he's going to pick up Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he said that in an interview he doesn't want to get dunked on again, so might as well pick up the player that dunked on him last year.
It's smart.
It'd be funny
Yep.
to see somebody else dunk on him if that happens.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and James Harden rounding out that starting lineup. I did go back on it a little bit. I wanted to put Durant with Team LeBron James so they wouldn't have to go against each other again, but
Yeah.
I decided not to because I'm sure Curry doesn't want to throw any shade at any of his teammates. So
Yeah. I mean, I kind of did that. If that's your lineup, I can go on to mine.
yeah, Zach,
Yeah.
tell me yours.
All right. Well, I took a much longer approach to this, and it took up a lot of my time, so it's good and bad. But I literally went through and did this as if those two were drafting. So maybe some of the better players are drafted sooner, like what they would want. But for LeBron, since he got first pick, I figured he'd pick Durant first. I mean, they've done some off-season workouts together. It'd be fun to see them play together. They've played at some Olympics together. But yeah, and then I figured he would have picked Kyrie after that because I doubt Curry was going to pick Kyrie second overall. And then Anthony Davis, trying to get real big, and I think he's probably maybe the more valuable in a sense between him and Boogie. Has a lot more individual skills to him. And then DeRozan, it seems like those two always play pretty well together, so I figured I'd like to just play with DeRozan again. And then the reserves, I have Towns, Clay, which would be interesting to see Clay play with LeBron and Durant. I thought that'd be a fun one. Oladipo, Porzingis, Lillard, Wall, and Horford. And then Curry, I have him picking Giannis second overall. I like doesn't want to get dunked on again, but I think Giannis is easily one of the most valuable players to pick up early because he always lights it up in that game. Then, of course, James Harden, Boogie, and then Embiid to round out the starters. And then for reserves, I think because Curry gets a first reserve pick, I think Jimmy Butler is probably one of the most valuable reserves picks. He's been really, really good this year. Then Draymond Green, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Aldridge, Love, and Lowry picked last, but kind of because it would be Horford. But I don't get how Lowry's a all-star this year. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't think he should be an all-star, but talk about that some other time.
All right, quickly, Tom, give us your starters.
Yes.
Even though you did it wrong.
I know I did do it wrong. This probably
you just did it differently.
This probably literally can't happen with how people
It's just how you want it to
can be
happen.
starters. They
Yeah.
can't be reserves, whatever. But for LeBron's team, obviously got him in the starting lineup. I think he's going to take Giannis, the Greek freak, because he wants him to come to Cleveland next year. He's going to take James Harden. He's going
Who
to
knows
take.
if LeBron will be in Cleveland next year?
I think he wants him though. He talks. He's like,
Yeah.
I like this kid, right? He's going to take James Harden because he wants to get really good friends with James Harden so that the Rockets beat the Warriors in the playoffs and they don't have to deal with them in the finals.
Okay.
He's going to take Embiid because he's young and he really likes him. And he's going to take DeMar DeRozan. Also, can he have Russell Westbrook in his starting lineup?
Russell, he wasn't picked as one of the starters,
Alright,
but
well.
I mean, in an ideal world, you just do your thing, man.
I think he would pick Westbrook regardless, just because I think he likes the chip on his shoulder kind of guy like him.
Yeah.
For Curry, obviously Steph. He's gonna take Dre. He's gonna take Clay. He's gonna take Boogie. And then I don't think he can have this guy in the starting line, but Porzingis, Kristaps, my boy.
Draymond even an all-star?
Draymond is. He's
is.
a reserve, but him and Clay are reserves.
Yeah, but
Tom did his own thing.
I did my own thing.
Did your own
I
thing.
don't conform to your rules.
Or the rules of the NBA all-star
Right.
game.
That's all right.
How-
Fair enough.
It's new to him. It's new to
It is.
everybody.
It's new to everybody. I didn't know
Yeah,
how this
there
was
you
gonna
go.
work.
And yeah, having Durant come off the bench in the All-Star game, yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I didn't think about Durant much. I mean, I feel like I really don't see LeBron drafting any Warriors though. I really don't see that happening.
I think he's gonna have fun with it. I think
He might take Durant, but he won't take. He
Him and
definitely
Durant
won't
have
take
like
Clay.
a different relationship.
Yeah. Kind of.
I don't think he'll
Like
pick
mutual
Draymond.
respect, like
I think he won't pick Draymond.
Definitely
I don't
not.
think they like each
No.
other.
Mm-mm.
But I mean,
because now LeBron has a ring on Durant, and Durant has a ring on LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
because LeBron's Actually, yeah, it's another parallel I didn't think about. LeBron's first ring was against KD, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and KD's first ring.
After LeBron
Against
jumped ship
LeBron.
and went to Miami.
Yeah.
And then KD gets his first ring after jumping ship from OKC and going to
Yeah.
form a super
A
team.
lot of
Hey.
parallels.
Huh. Very interesting.
Maybe it's
I
a
think
thing.
the discussion that you're going to be seeing around a lot, especially after this season ends, if the Warriors win again, is whether or not Durant is better player than LeBron James. Obviously, the numbers, this individual statistics don't back that up
Yeah.
completely, but in terms of the type of players they are and what
Yeah.
they do in terms of winning,
Yeah.
I think you're already starting to hear chatter of that happening in various media
Yeah,
outlets. I
these-
think that'll be an even bigger topic of discussion.
They're easily two of the best players of our generation of basketball that we've
Oh, yeah.
watched. They'll both be Hall of Famers. They'll be shoo-ins. These guys will be talked about for years after they retire and everything. It's a cool conversation. It's cool to see all these guys kind of on the floor at the same time.
Yeah. It'll be exciting.
Well, that's all we got for tonight. Thanks for listening and tuning into Mass Radio's What's the Big Deal. Thank you, Tom, for joining us in studio and helping us out on
Thanks for
such
having
short
me.
notice.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. We'll be back next Tuesday at 9 p.m., same time, so make sure to tweet us your thoughts for ideas, concerns, opinions. We'd love to address them on social media and on the show. You can follow us at What's the Big Deal 1. That's What's the Big DYL and then the number 1. Follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And for that, I say go Lutes
Yeah.
and have a great week.